Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear viewers, in this topic we have been discussing the refusal of Abdullah ibn Masud, a famous companion of the Prophet, to hand over his Mushaf in the times of the Caliph Uthman, when he had launched a massive campaign to unify the Ummah on one reading, as it is alleged, and he had embarked upon destroying all spurious Masahif. In the last two episodes, we have read out the narratives, and we have also seen the questions which arise on the text of these narratives. Today, inshallah, we'll begin analyzing the chains of narration of all those 18 categories of narratives in which various people report this refusal in various forms. And we begin with the first of these categories. If you recall, the first of these categories was reported by Abu Sha'sa. So you can see the chart being displayed before you. The person who narrates from Abu Sha'sa is Habib ibn Abi Sabit. So Ibn Hajar in his Taqrib al-Tahzib says that Habib ibn Abi Sabit is siqa and an eminent jurist, but does a lot of irsal and tadlis. And all the narratives, all the variants of these narratives, which you can see in the chart before you, have his an'ana. So therefore, it is clear that this is a mu'an'an narrative because of Habib ibn Abi Sabit. Now you can also see two chains on the right and left of Habib ibn Abi Sabit. One of them starts from Amr ibn Sabit, and the other one from Al-Amash. So we shall also see the flaws presently in these chains of narration. Now, as far as Amr ibn Sabit is concerned, he is very weak. Ibn Hajar has recorded the following information about him in his Tahzib al-Tahzib. He says that Hasan ibn Isa said that Ibn Mubarak has forsaken his narratives, taraka hadithahu. Ad-Duri says that Yahya ibn Ma'in called him ghayr sikha. Abu Zura says that he's Za'if al-Hadith, and so does Abu Hatim. The latter has further added, Yuktabu hadithuhu kana radiyur rai shadidut tashayyu. Al-Bukhari says that he's laysa bil qawi indahum. An-Nisai says that he is matrukul hadith, and Ibn Habban says that he narrates fabricated narratives from trustworthy people. So this is the jar on Amr ibn Sabit. Now, as far as Al-Amash is concerned, Al-Amash reports from Habib ibn Abi Sabit al-Kufi, as you can see. And according to Mizan al-I'tidal, as recorded by Ibn Hajar in his Tahzib al-Tahzib, he is a mudallis and does tadlis from weak narrators. We have pointed out a number of times before this regarding Al-Amash. And he would not know them. There are a lot of discrepancies, which is obviously istirab in his narratives. It may be noted that all his narratives from Habib ibn Abi Sabit are mu'an'an. So he is a mudallis, and all his narratives are and carry his an'ana. Now, according to Usman ibn Sayyid al-Darimi, Al-Amash is at times guilty of the worst form of tadlis, which is the tadlis of tasbiyah, and this has been recorded by Usman ibn Sayyid al-Darimi in his Tarikh of Yahya ibn Ma'in. So this is yours as far as the first category of narrative is concerned. Now we come to the second category, and if you recall, it was reported by Abu Maysara, and you can see its two variants being displayed before you. Now, in fact, there are three variants being displayed before you, and you can see that from Abu Maysara, the person reports has different names. He's variously recorded as Amr ibn Qais, Umar ibn Qais, from Abu Maysara. So let us analyze this information. Now, no authority mentions Umar ibn Qais, who is actually Umar ibn Qais Abu Shabba, and not Umar ibn Qais al-Makki, because we have to make this distinction. So no authority mentions Umar ibn Qais or Amr ibn Qais as a narrator of Abu Maysara. So this is the first flaw, that we don't even know who this person is, and we don't know who by this name actually narrates from Abu Maysara. It is only in these narratives do we find his name being displayed. So there is no other narrative in which he narrates from Abu Maysara. So now Ashal ibn Hatim is mahalluhu as-sidq wa laysa bil qawi in the eyes of Abu Hatim al-Razi, and laysa bil qawi in the eyes of Abu Zurra al-Razi. Now, Ibn Habban has mentioned him in his Al-Majruhin and said that there are things in his narratives which only he narrates. It is as if he has erred and should not be adduced from if he solely narrates something. Ibn Hajar records the opinion of Yahya ibn Ma'in that he is la shay, and in the opinion of Al-Ijli, he is za'if. Isa ibn Ahmad al-Asqalani is Saduq in the eyes of Abu Hatim. You can see these narrators being marked in front of you on the screen. So Isa ibn Ahmad al-Asqalani is Saduq in the eyes of Abu Hatim, and in the opinion of Al-Khalili, as recorded by Ibn Hajar in his Tehzib al-Tehzib, reports narratives solely reported by him. So he reports narratives solely narrated by him. So Ibn Hajar in his Taqrib records his opinion about him thus: Siqa and Yughribu. And about Muhammad ibn Abdullah ibn al-Musanna, the opinion of Abu Dawud as recorded by Zahabi is تغير تغيرا شديدا, which obviously refers to his very scanty memory. Now, it may also be noted that the chains of narration which are recorded by Al-Hakim and Al-Tabrani are broken. So the last two chains, you can see they are broken. And why? Because Al-Musanna ibn Mu'az died in 228 Hijrah at the age of 61. And this means that he was born in 167 AH, and this fact has been recorded by Ibn Hajar in his Taqrib al-Tehzib. Ibn Hibban records that Abdullah ibn On died in 151 AH. This he recorded in his Mashahir Ulama al-Ansar. So viewers, we can clearly see that in the presence of this data, the last two chains are broken, while the other ones have flaws which I have just narrated before you. So viewers, we now move on to the third category, and this has been reported by Masruq ibn Ajda. And in all the variants, we find either Al-Mughira ibn Miqsam or Al-Amash narrating. And you can see this from the chart being displayed before you. Now, both of these are mudallis, and all the textual variants of this narrative are anana and from both. So from both of these people, we have the anana and in all the variants, and both of these are mudallis. So therefore, this is a strong weakness. Now, we have already pointed out some details about Al-Amash and various talks and categories, and even in the previous one. But as far as Mughira ibn Miqsam is concerned, Ibn Hajar records in his Taqrib al-Tehzib that although he is trustworthy and has a strong grasp and memory, he does tadlis, especially from Ibrahim al-Nakhi. Ibn Hajar in his Tehzib al-Tehzib says that the opinion of Ismail al-Qadi about Al-Mughira ibn Miqsam is as follows. He is not qawi regarding those he has met because he does tadlis. So how can he be regarded as qawi regarding those from whom he does irsal? So this is how he has posited about him. Now, Ahmad ibn Hanbal's opinion about Abu Awana al-Wadha ibn Abdullah, as recorded by Ibn Abi Hatim, is that he is trustworthy when he narrates from his book, but when he narrates from his memory, he at times errs. And this has been recorded by Ibn Abi Hatim in his Al-Jarh wa Ta'dil. Now, Muhammad ibn Uthman ibn Abi Shayba, as is being indicated before you on the chart, is suspect in the eyes of some authorities. Ibn Hajar records that according to Abdullah ibn Ahmad ibn Hanbal, he is a liar, and Ibn Kharash says that he fabricates narratives. So you can see this opinion of Ibn Hajar being recorded, and this is recorded in his Lisan al-Mizan. Now, viewers, we move on to the fourth category. Now, as far as the fourth category is concerned, you can see its chart being displayed before you, and it's quite an elaborate chart. Now, we will analyze each of the personals which are not that sound as found in these chains of narration. Now, the first of them is Khumair ibn Malik al-Kufi. Now, according to Abu al-Fadl al-Harawi, there are two Khumairs. One who is Ibn Mas'ud's companion, from whom Abu Ishaq narrates, and the other is Khumair ibn Malik al-Shami, from whom Abdullah ibn Isa narrates. And this information has been recorded by Al-Harawi in his Al-Mu'jam fi Mushtabih Asami al-Muhaddisin. Ibn Hajar, however, in his Ta'jib al-Manfa'a says that besides Abu Ishaq, Abdullah ibn Qais also narrates from the first mentioned Khumair. In spite of a lot of search, I have not been able to find any narrative of Abdullah ibn Qais from Khumair. Now, if there is none, then Khumair is Majhul al-Ain, since only Abu Ishaq as-Sabi'i reports from him. It may further be noted that Abu Hatim and al-Bukhari have mentioned Abu Ishaq as the only narrator who narrates from Khumair. So this goes to the belief that he is a Majhul person. Now, it may also be worthy of to note that Shoaib al-Arnaout has pointed out that, among others, Ibn Habban in his As-Siqat and Ibn Hajar in his Tajir al-Manfa'a have erroneously equated the two Khumairs to be the same. And in both these books, the name of Abdullah ibn Isa has been mistakenly changed to Abdullah ibn Qais. Another important point worthy of note is that there is no jar or ta'dil available on Khumair ibn Malik, except that Ibn Habban has mentioned him in his As-Siqat. It may be noted that in the chain given by At-Tusi in his Al-Imali, Ibn Makhlad is Muhammad ibn Muhammad ibn Makhlad, and Abu Amr is Abu Amr Uthman ibn Ahmad ibn Abdullah ibn Yazid ad-Daqqaq, also called Ibn Sammak, and Khumair ibn Malik is Hamza ibn Malik in Shiite Rijal books. So this is as far as Khumair is concerned. Now let us move on to the next person, and he is Abu Ishaq as-Sabi'i. He is a mudallis as recorded by Ibn Habban. All the variants are the an'ana of Abu Ishaq. As a result of this tadlis, Az-Zahabi records on the authority of Jarir ibn Mughira that he is not a trustworthy person from what he reports from the Kufans. And this narrative is from Khumair ibn Malik al-Kufi. So Khumair ibn Malik is a Kufi. Az-Zahabi also records the opinion of Al-Fasawi that, in the opinion of some scholars, he had a bad memory, as a result of which they had abandoned him. So this has been recorded by him. Now, viewers, the third person of this fourth category that we shall discuss is Sufyan ibn Sa'id al-Sawri. And he is a person, although he is regarded to be a very famous and a very giant personality in matters of Rijal, yet he does tadlis, and all his variants of this narrative have his an'ana. So he is a mudallis, and I have expressed this opinion a number of times that a person who is a mudallis and he does an'ana, then his tadlis, however great he may be, cannot be tolerated. And here in the case, same is the case. So therefore, in my opinion, Sufyan Sawri's tadlis impugns him severely. So viewers, the fourth person that we are going to discuss is Israel ibn Yunus. Now, though many authorities regard him to be reliable, yet Al-Mizzi records that Ali ibn Madini says that he is Zarif, and as per one opinion attributed to Yaqub ibn Shayba, he is laysa bil kawi fil hadith wala bis saqit, which means that he is not neither a person who should be abandoned, nor he is a person who is that strong in matters of hadith. Now, the fifth person that I'm going to discuss is Amr ibn Sabit, and since the jarh on him has already been mentioned when we were discussing category number 1, I'm not going to point this redo the jarh on him. You can just re-listen to what has been recorded regarding Amr ibn Sabit. So these are the 5 people who are impugned in these variants. Now let us move on to the 5th category of narratives, and we know that these narratives, or the 5th category, consists of 2 types, and you can see that both these narratives are being displayed before you, and this 5th category is actually reported by Zir ibn Hubaysh. So let's now analyze these variants. Now, as far as the first one is concerned, in all the variants of the first category of narratives, Al-Amash reports from Abu Razin Masud ibn Malik, who is a Kufan. Critique on Al-Amash has already been referred to above, and we know that he is weak in matters from what he reports from the Kufan narrators. And it also may be reported that all his narratives from Abu Razin are mu'annan. We know that Al-Amash is a mudallis, and all his narratives from Abu Razin are mu'annan. Moreover, Uthman ibn Muhammad ibn Abi Shayba has been mentioned by Al-Uqayli in his Zu'afa, and Ibn Hajar's opinions about him is lahu awham. So both of these opinions can be looked up in either on the first of them in Al-Uqayli's Zu'afa and the second one in Ibn Hajar's Taqrib al-Tahzib. Now the second point, viewers, in this regard is that in all variants of the second category of narratives, Asim reports from Zir, and from him there are 5 narrators. So if we are now discussing the second variant, and Asim is a suspect narrator here, and he reports from Zir, and from Asim the following 5 narrators report this narrative: Abu Awana, Hamad ibn Salama, Zaida, Salam ibn Sulaiman, and Abu Ayyub al-Afriqi. According to Abu Hatim, Asim does not have a strong memory. Al-Mizzi records that according to Ibn Kharash, his narratives contain strange things, and Abu Ja'far al-Luqayli and Ad-Darqutni say that he has a bad memory. So this is as far as the fifth category of narratives are concerned. Now let us move on to the sixth category, and you can see the sixth category being displayed before you. And as far as the narratives of the sixth category are concerned, you can see that the chart is basically a comprehensive chart, which is the first one, and then we have a second chart also, which consists of a single narrator. Now, in all except one narrative of the first category, Al-Amash reports from Shaqiq ibn Salma al-Kufi, as you can see in the chart. The following 9 narrators report this narrative from Al-Amash, and they are Abdullah ibn Sulaiman, Abu Shihab, Abdul Wahid ibn Ziyad, Malik ibn Sa'ir, Jarir and Shu'ba, Ali ibn Mushir, Abu Usama and Muhammad ibn al-Fadl. So these are the people who narrate from Al-Amash. Now out of these 9 people, it is only the variant from Hafs ibn Ghiyas and one of the 2 variants from Abu Wahid ibn Ziyad which do not contain the an'ana of Al-Amash, while all the rest have the an'ana of Al-Amash. The one narrative in which Al-Amash is not present, there is one narrative in which Al-Amash is not present, and another suspect narrator is present in that chain, and he is Muhammad ibn Fadl ibn Atiyah, and you can see him being indicated in the chart. Now, Ibn Abi Hatim records about him the following jarh. Ahmad ibn Hanbal says that he is laysa bishay. Yahya ibn Ma'in says that he is a great liar. Abu Hatim says that he is Zahibul Hadith, and the words are Zahibul Hadith, Tureka Hadithuhu. And Abu Zura says that he is Zarif. And now I'm going to corroborate this further by mentioning the jarh recorded by Al-Mizzi. Amr ibn Ali says that he is Matrukul Hadith, Kazzab. Al-Mufaddal ibn Ghassan says that he is Laysa bis-Siqa. Remember, viewers, we are discussing the person of Muhammad ibn al-Fadl ibn Atiyah. Okay, Muslim ibn Hajjaj al-Nasai and ibn Kharash regard him to be Matrukul Hadith. Abu Dawud is of the opinion that he is Laysa bishay. Salih ibn Muhammad says that he fabricates narratives. Ad-Darqutni regards him to be Zarif, and at another place he says that he is Matruk. Ibn Sa'd and An-Nisai regard him to be Matrukul Hadith. Ibn Sa'd's opinion can be looked up in his At-Tabaqat al-Kubra, and An-Nisai's opinion can be looked up in his Al-Zurafa. The second point in this regard is, and we're discussing the sixth category, that the second variant consists of just one variant, the second category, and that variant has Asim ibn Bahdala, and he reports from Shaqiq ibn Salma al-Kufi, and we have already presented the critique on Asim that he does not have a sound memory. Now, Abu Munzir Salam ibn Sulaiman is in the opinion of Ibn Hajar, is Saduqun Yahim. Ibn Habban says that he would make mistakes, Kana yukhti. As-Sadi says, Saduqun Yahimu laysa bimutkin fil hadith. This is how he portrays him. So viewers, we can sum up that both these charts, the first of them has flaws, and the second one also is primarily suspect because of the presence of Asim al-Bahdala. Now let's move on to the seventh category, viewers, and you can see the seventh category being displayed before you. It is reported by Ubaidullah ibn Abdullah ibn Utbah. Now, the jarh on him is that Ubaidullah ibn Abdullah ibn Utbah narrates mursal narratives from the paternal uncle, from the paternal uncle of his father, Abdullah ibn Masud. So we can see that this, therefore, is also a very weak element in this chain of narration. The jarh on Az-Zuhri and on Ibrahim ibn Sa'd have already been recorded in some of my previous talks, and therefore it can be looked up. So therefore you can see that Ubaidullah ibn Abdullah ibn Utbah is a person who narrates mursal narratives from Abdullah ibn Masud. We have Zuhri after him, who is a weak narrator, and then we have Ibrahim ibn Sa'd, who is also a weak narrator, and both these latter two people have been discussed in my earlier talks. So viewers, now let's move on to the eighth category of these narratives which report Abdullah ibn Masud's refusal to hand over his Mushaf. So in this 8th category, the chart is being displayed before you. Now, authorities have not been able to ascertain the name of Abu Sa'id al-Azdi. Now, he is the person who is the primary person who reports this narrative. And Dr. Muhib Subhan admits that he is not able to find the name of this person. And he is, of course, when I'm referring to Dr. Muhib Subhan, he's the person who has done his research on the Kitab al-Masahif of Ibn Abi Dawud. Now, Ibn Hajar regards him to be Maqbul, which of course is a borderline case. He has also been referred to as Abu Sa'id al-Azdi. After citing a variant of this narrative, Al-Mizzi says that he is not sure whether Abu Sa'id al-Azdi is Abu Sa'ad al-Azdi or someone else. And this can be seen in Mizzi's Tahzib al-Kamal. So now we move on to the 9th category of narratives, and this is being displayed before you. And you can see that this 9th category of narratives is reported by Alqama ibn Qais. Now, Al-Haysam ibn al-Shaddaq, as you can see, he is a person who is found in this chart. He is present in all the chains of narration. Now, according to Ibn Habban, he narrates great falsities from Al-Amash, and the words are La yajuz al-ihtajaj bihi. This is what he has recorded. And according to Al-Uqayli, he is majhul and his narratives are not sound. So this is what has been recorded. And Al-Haysami says that he is za'ifun jiddan. So Haysami in his Majma' al-Zawaid has said that he is za'ifun jiddan. Now, let's now move on to the 10th category of narratives, and this has been reported by Hubayra ibn Yuraym. Now, as far as Hubayra ibn Yuraym is concerned, he himself is suspect. So Abu Hatim says that he is la yuhtajju bihi and should be classified under people who resemble the majhulin, or the people who are unknown. Al-Zahabi has recorded that according to Al-Nisai, he is laysa bil qawi, and that Ibn Kharash has regarded him to be zarif. So this is what he has recorded. And of course, viewers, we have also got to note the fact that all chains contain Al-Amash and Abu Ishaq. And we are very familiar by this time about both these narrators, that both of them are mudallis, and all of the chains of narration carry their anana. So all of them are mu'anhan. And this, of course, is a severe flaw. Now, next we move on to the 11th category, viewers, and you can see that the 11th category is reported by Al-Aswad ibn Yazid, and then there is another doubt about it, who the actual person is. Now, all chains here again contain Abu Ishaq, who is a known mudallis, and all the chains have his anana. Now, Al-Mizzi has recorded the following jarh about Sharik ibn Abdullah. You can see Sharik ibn Abdullah figuring in the chains of narration as is being displayed before you in the chart. So Yahya al-Qattan would not narrate from him. Yaqub ibn Shayba says that he is Sadukun Sikatun, Sayyul Hifz Jiddan. So although he is trustworthy, but he has an extremely bad memory. Ibrahim ibn Yaqub al-Juzjani says that he is Sayyul Hifz, Mustaribul Hadith, Ma'ilun. In the opinion of Abu Zur'a, he makes a lot of mistakes and forgets. Ibn Sa'd says that he makes a lot of mistakes, and the words are Kana yaghlatu kathira. Ad-Darqutni says that he is laysa bil qawi fima yatafarrada bihi. So he is not strong in what he narrates as a sole person, in which he is the sole narrator. Ibn Hajar records that he is sadukun yukhti kasir. So he makes a lot of errors even though he is saduk. And that he was inflicted with a bad memory, and then he became the Qazi of Kufa. Sharik is also a mudallis as recorded by Ibn Hajar, and viewers, all these narratives in which Sharik reports have his anana. So therefore, they stand also impugned. Now viewers, we move on to the 12th category, and this is reported by Abu Fakhta, as you can see, and from him, Suwair ibn Abi Fakhta is the person who reports. Now, as far as Suwair ibn Abi Fakhta is concerned, he exists in all the chains and his suspect. And we can see Ibn Hajar has recorded the following jarh on him in his Tahzib al-Tahzib. So we can see that Suwair ibn Abi Fakhta exists in all the chains, and the jarh on him is that Ad-Duri reports from Yahya ibn Ma'in that he is laysa bishay. Ibrahim al-Juzjani says that he is Za'if al-Hadith. Abu Hatim says that he is Za'if. An-Nasai says that he is laysa bisiqa, and Ad-Darqutni and Ali ibn Junayd say that he is matruk. Ibn Habban says that he would intermingle the chains of narration such that he would come up with fabrications in his narratives. Al-Uqayli, Ibn Jarud, and Abul Arab and others have categorized him from among the Zurafa. Abu Zura says that he is Laysa bizak al-Kavi. Sufyan al-Sawri says that he is from among the liars. Amr ibn Ali says that Yahya and Abdul Rahman ibn Mahdi would not narrate from him. Ayyub al-Sakhtiyani says, Lam yakun mustaqimun al-sha'n. Lam yakun mustaqim al-sha'n. Bukhari has recorded in his Tariq al-Awsat that Sufyan ibn Uyana would impugn him. Al-Ijli at one place says about him that he is la ba'sa bihi, whereas at another place he says about him, yuktabu hadithuhu wa huwa za'if. Yaqub ibn Sufyan's opinion about him is Layin al-Hadith in the opinion of Al-Juzjani, as narrated from him by Ibn al-Jawzi in his Az-Zu'afa, he is Laysa bis-Siqa. So we find a plethora of opinions about Suwair ibn Abi Fakhta, and we can see how badly affected his personality is. Now viewers, we move on to the 13th category, and this has been reported by Zazan Abu Umar, as you can see, Zazan Abu Umar. Now, all chains contain Zazan Abu Umar, who is suspect because he is the person who's the person who narrates this narrative. And according to Ibn Habban, in his Mashahir Ulama al-Ansar, he would not be certain of what he is saying. So the words are Yahimu fi shay ba'da shay. According to Ibn Habban in his Siqat, he would err greatly, he would make a lot of mistakes. However, according to Ibn Hajar, Ibn Ma'in, Ibn Sa'ad, and Al-Ijli, and some other authorities have also regarded him to be trustworthy. So, the next point of criticism on this 13th narrative, 13th category is that, as recorded by Az-Zahabi in his Al-Mughni fi Zurafa, Yahya ibn Salim has been regarded as Za'if by Ad-Darqutni. So you can see him figuring in this chain of narration, and he's regarded to be Za'if by Ad-Darqutni. Ibn Sibt ibn al-Ajmi records in his Al-Kashf al-Hasis that Ubayd ibn Kasir is regarded as Matrukul Hadith by Al-Azdi. So he is also figuring in this chain of narration, as you can see by the arrow indicating him. Ad-Darqutni and Az-Zahabi, the actual fact is that Ubayd ibn Kasir is regarded as Matrukul Hadith by Al-Azdi, by Ad-Darqutni, and by Al-Zahabi. And Ibn Habban has recorded him in his Al-Majruhin and has said that he is worthy of not being adduced from. So he is not even a person who can be adduced from. So this concludes this part of the critique. Now, Al-Uqayli records about Muhammad ibn Musa al-Miskin al-Ansari, who is also found in the chain of narration, that Al-Bukhari says, Indahum manakir. Ibn Hajar has also recorded that in the opinion of Al-Bukhari, he is Munkarul Hadith. Ibn al-Jawzi says that in the opinion of Ar-Razi, he is Za'if. Ibn Habban says that he would steal hadith from him and that he would report fabricated narratives from trustworthy narrators. And this opinion has been recorded in Al-Uqayli, Al-Zurafa, Al-Kabir, and Ibn Hajar's Lisan al-Mizan, these opinions that I've just referred to. So, another point of criticism in this regard is that Amr ibn Jarir al-Bajli has been recorded by Ibn al-Adi in his Al-Kamil fi al-Zurafa. He comments on him by saying that some of his narratives are manakir al-asnad wal-matan. So both the matan and the isnad is inflicted by manakir. So viewers, we now come to the 14th category of narratives in this regard, and this is it consists of a single chain of narration, and it is recorded by a Tusi. And I will restrict myself in criticizing or in critically analyzing this chain of narration through Shiite Rijal works, because this has been reported by a Tusi. And although people like Abu Qubaysa, Safwan ibn Qubaysa, and Abad ibn Yaqub, and Abu al-Mufaddal, Muhammad ibn Abdullah, they are regarded as suspect by Sunni authorities, but nonetheless, I'll confine myself to criticism by Shia Rijal authorities. Now, as you can see, viewers, and from the chart being displayed before you, there is an unknown group of people between At-Tusi and Muhammad ibn Abdullah. So this, of course, brings or casts a big question mark. The second point of criticism in this regard is that Abul Mufazzal, Muhammad ibn Abdullah al-Shaybani, is suspect according to Rijal authorities. Now, I'm going to record the opinion or recite the opinion of Ibn al-Ghazayri before you. And he says that Muhammad ibn Abdullah ibn Muttalib al-Shaybani, Abul Mufazzal, وَضَّعٌ كَثِيرُ الْمَنَاكِيرِ رأيت كتبه وفيها الأسانيد من دون المتون والمتون من دون الأسانيد وأرى ترك ما ينفرد به. So the translation of this is that he is a fabricator and his narratives have a lot of strange things. I have seen his books and in it are chains of narration without texts and texts without chains of narration. My opinion is that what is only reported from him solely should be forsaken. Similarly, viewers, Ibn Dawud and Tusi write that he has reported many narratives. However, one group of our authorities regards him as weak. So Ibn Dawud in his Rijal and Tusi in his Rijal, both of them have recorded this statement. Najashi says that he initially was trustworthy. However, later he was afflicted with a bad memory. He says that most of the authorities regard him as weak and untrustworthy. And the words are رَأَيْتُ جُلَّ أَصْحَابِنَا يَغْمِزُونَهُ وَيُضَعِّفُونَهُ. So this is what Najashi has said in his Rijal. Now, viewers, we move on to the 15th category in this regard. And you can see that the 15th category, the chart being displayed before you, Hamza ibn Abdullah is the person who says Balagani. And therefore, viewers, in the very outset, this is a mursal narrative because Hamza ibn Abdullah, according to Ibn Hajar, belongs to the third tabaqa. So this mean that there is no ittisal between him and the events that he is narrating. Now, there is another flaw as well in this chain of narration, and that is that the narrative mentions Yaqub ibn Abdul Rahman narrates from Hamza ibn Abdullah. Now, Al-Mizzi has specified that this is not correct because in between the two, in between Hamza ibn Abdullah and Yaqub ibn Abdul Rahman, there is the person of Musa ibn Uqba. So therefore, he has been missed out here, and therefore the narrative cannot be regarded as trustworthy. Now let us move on to the 16th category of narratives, and there are two variants in this regard, and both of them are being displayed before you. Now, as far as the first of them is concerned, you can see it is from Ibrahim al-Nakhai, and from him Ibrahim ibn Mahajir narrates, and then the rest of the narrators. And the next variant we find it is also from Ibrahim ibn Nakhai, and from him Al-Ma'amash narrates. Now, the fact of the matter is that both these variants are broken. They are munqata, because Ibrahim ibn Nakhai never met Abdullah ibn Masud. Ibrahim ibn Nakhai was born in 50th Hijrah, and we know that Abdullah ibn Masud died in 32 or 33 Hijrah. So there is no possibility of the two meeting, and hence both these narratives and both these variants, because they have been reported by Ibrahim and Nakhai, they stand as munqata. Now, in the first of these, this is besides what I've just said. What I'm just going to say is further adds to the suspect nature of the narratives. Besides being munqata, what I'm going to further add is that Ibrahim ibn Muhajir has been regarded as weak by some authorities. Ibn Hajar says that he is sadukun layyinul hifz, and Al-Mizzi records, according to Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Qattan, he is lam yakun biqawi. Yahya ibn Ma'in says that he is za'if. An-Nisai says that he is laysa bil qawi fil hadith. Ibn Adi says hadithuhu yuktabu fi zu'afa. So his narratives have been mentioned among the zu'afa. Now, this information, as you can see, has been mentioned in Al-Mizzi's Tahzib al-Kamal. Now, Ibn Abi Hatim comments on him that he is laysa biqawi yuktabu hadithuhu wa la yuhtajju bihi. And Ibn Habban records he is kasirul khata, and that it is desirable that one abstains from narratives solely narrated by him, and that he, Ibn Habban, does not like adducing from narratives even in which besides him there are other trustworthy narrators, because he abundantly reports makloob narratives. So this is what Ibn Habban records, and we know that he is a person who is very lenient in his jar, and even a person like him has said these words. Now, in the second of these chains of narration, there also exists the anana of Al-Amash, and we know that he is a mudallis. So, viewers, besides the fact that both these variants are broken, this is some further information that I have given in this regard. And this completes our jar on the 16th narrative. So, viewers, now let's move on to the 17th category of narratives. And as you can see from the chart being displayed before you, Abdul Ala ibn al-Hakam is the person who is narrating these narratives. Now, according to Al-Bukhari, Abdul Ala ibn al-Hakam has heard from Abu Musa ibn Masud and Huzaifa, and according to Ibn Abi Hatim, he has heard from Ibn Masud and Huzaifa. However, although he has heard from Ibn Masud, we do not find any jar or ta'dil on him. Moreover, in the opinion of Ibn Habban, Kasir ibn Hisham, who also figures, as you can see in the chain of narration as being indicated by the arrow, that Kasir ibn Hisham is yukhti wa yukhalaf. So he's a person who makes error and whose narratives are contradicted by other narratives. And now we move on to the last category of narratives, and this you can see is being reported by Murrah ibn Shurahbil. Now, Murrah, the basic flaw in this narrative is that the chain is broken because Murrah has not specified his teacher. It is also narrated by or recorded by Ibn Hajar that Husayn ibn Abdurrahman had a bad memory. So Ibn Hajar says Husayn ibn Abdurrahman, who is the person who reports from Murrah, he had a very bad memory. So viewers, this concludes our analysis of the chains of narration of all these 18 categories, and I know it would have been some burdensome listening for you because of the fact that these chains of narration are something which requires some technical knowledge as well. But I had to read out and I had to posit before you this weakness in the chains of narration. We have already seen in my earlier talks that this narrative, or these narratives in which Abdullah ibn Masud's refusal to surrender his Mushaf, they stand on extremely frail grounds. The questions which arise on the text of this narrative or these narratives are so strong that unless they are answered, we cannot accept them. And the information which has come before you today regarding the chains of these 18 categories is just an addition to the fact that what is so weakly reported, which has such strong questions on the text of narration, these narrations or these narratives have so weak and such weak variants, chains of narration as well. So we are only adding some additional information to the critique of our matan criticism. And I've already pointed out in my previous talks and my earliest talks as well that the primary criticism on our in the primary manner of critique in our methodology is that we shall take a look at the questions which arise on the matan of the narrative, and if they arise, then of course the sanad criticism or the isnad criticism only stands in support. And in the presence of this detail that I have just pointed before you in my previous talks, which relate to the matan criticism, and this talk which relates to the isnad criticism, my own conclusion is that none of these narratives is worthy of being accepted. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات.